Hey there friends, thanks for checking in. If you're like me, every gun in your collection is special in its own way. There's something unique about that gun that it offers that the other ones do not. And what happens is, over time, over range time, over times of fondling it, you fall in love with that gun. But all of a sudden, your buddy has something that you really want. You go to the gun store, you see something you cannot live without. So you put a deposit on, you make a credit card payment, and you buy that new gun. All of a sudden, you're in love again. But you have to pay for that gun. You know, you think, well, I could save up for it, or I can move something that I already have. So you decide to move something that you already have, and you're thinking of what you're going to sell it for. And the first thing you think of is, okay, this is what I paid for it. Okay, fine. That's a starting point, what you paid for. But what happens is we also take into account sentimental value, how much you love that gun and how much that is worth. For example, here's a CZ P07 Duty. You can see this has a Cerakote frame, polished barrel, aftermarket grips. I think this is super cool, and in my eyes, it is worth more than a P07 Duty off of the shelf. But if I go to sell with those add-ons included and say, look, it has all this stuff, the buyer could be, look, I just want a P07 Duty, okay? So all that stuff doesn't mean as much to me as it means to you. Therefore, they're not willing to pay for it. In my eyes, that makes perfect sense. You know, we put these add-ons, which is great, but not all buyers will appreciate it. So as it works out, our gun is not worth what we think it is. Here's another example. I picked up this Ruger American not long after Ruger released it, okay? I really enjoy the gun, but I paid about $480 for it. I look online now, it's right around $400. That's a big price dip for a brand new gun. If I start out with what I paid for it when I decide what I'm going to sell it for, I'm too high right off the bat. I'm way too high. So I have to think, you know, if I need to be competitive and I want to sell this gun, I have to look at in the upper 300s. You know, I mean, it makes perfect sense because that's what they are offering new for. Now we say, well, you know, this gun has 500 rounds through it. It's like a brand new gun. It's barely broken in. Well, now we have the car and truck effect. You know, when you buy a brand new car or a brand new truck, whatever, you drive it off the lot and immediately you lose value because it's now a used vehicle. Well, the same thing goes for guns. You know, because you think it's worth that, because you paid for so much for that gun, because you love that gun, it doesn't always equal dollars. The buyer typically is looking for the gun. They're not going to share those same emotions that you have with it. So we have to understand that, you know, we want top dollar for the gun, but yet we want to buy guns on sale. I don't worry about paying a little more for something that I really want. I don't worry about taking a little bit of loss if I need to recapture some of that money, because there always is something that you cannot live without. That's never going to change. We have to understand that right away. We also have to understand that your gun is really only worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. If you like videos like this, please subscribe and share. I always appreciate the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching, and you guys be safe.